Well, welcome back to another episode of Just a Bit of Banter. My name is Patrick, and in this episode, we've got George taking his victory lap over Greg over his 1-0 win in the Carabao Cup over his team Brighton. We also have in the banter segment Greg talking about what relaxes him and a little bit of AI talk. And then finally, we wrap the episode up with a rant from yours truly over City's performances in the week. So with that, let's get into it.
Welcome back to Just a Bit of Banter. I'm here with Patrick and George. We are chilling. It's Sunday night. We watched some football. We're all disappointed as hell. That's for sure.
Yep.
I'm disappointed probably the most just because we had the most to lose, but Patrick probably will argue that he's the most disappointed.
No, I would argue that you are, because the game I lost both my games this week, but one of them I kind of expected to. I don't know what Brighton's expectation was going into your games this week. So
yeah, I never know.
Rants incoming in this episode.
Rants incoming. Pew, 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 pew. Once again, we want to remind you, please follow us on all social medias that you use. We got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got TikTok coming soon, we got YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring that bell down there. I guess, I don't know. I just look stupid doing this.
I can put it wherever your finger is, bro.
You want to see a man? Oh, I don't even know how to do it.
You were gonna do this,
like freaking. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like and subscribe. The first thing that we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about the game between Chelsea and Brighton. George is going to take over here. So George,
he's gonna go over his one win that he's had.
You know what,
season.
dude?
One win.
It's coming, and you knew it was coming. I don't care what our record says right now at the moment. Us three, we have this little gig we got.
What is your record, please,
It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, what is your record in the Premier League?
What is it?
I'd love to hear it.
Guys, you guys lost to a team who has only beaten Luton. Not Luton. What are you going to call it?
So Luton Town.
Luton Town. No disrespect to Luton. I think Luton just won this week. I think
15.
Now I think about it.
Let's see.
Did
Brighton
win?
Who did Brighton? Yeah, they won against Everton.
Everton's not doing so hot right now. But anywho, yes, we did win this past Wednesday, the 27th. Because we are doing on Sunday. Nicholas Jackson got his second goal of the season.
Good. He avoided another card. Good for him.
Dude. So we got that dub, dude. Got that 1-0. He was hungry. Was catching a little bit during the week on that game. I needed this win. It's just so I can have some motivation, just to chat with you guys and not just be here depressed and like, oh gosh, Chelsea did this and not do that. But we got the dub. Wasn't in the Premier League, but it was still a dub against Brighton. He was doing hot.
But wait, how does this work though? How does that work? It's not the Premier League, but it was against Brighton. Both teams are in the Premier League. Explain that to me.
So it's kind of like during the course of a season for English teams. Let's take Europe out of the conversation right now. For English teams, there's 3 competitions you're always going to be competing in at the start of the season. There's the Premier League, which is the 38-week, goes all the way till May. That's where you're third at right now. Well, I don't think you're third after this week's results, but
yeah, I think we lost.
But
whatever.
In any case, you were third coming into this week. Then you have what George is talking about, the game he won. Currently, it's called the Carabao Cup. It's only called the Carabao Cup. It's an energy drink over, and it's like, I think of it like Monster or Red Bull.
Okay.
So they're the sponsor of that cup. That's why it's called that right now.
Okay.
But
that makes
at its core, it's called the English Football League Cup.
Okay.
So that's
2.
That is the second one. And this cup involves all teams from all various levels of. You can be like an 8th division team and compete in this cup. And then the third.
What's the third?
The FA Cup. So
FA
the Football
Cup.
Association Cup.
And that's too many cups. I can more than 2 cups. I got this cup.
No, It's difficult for
I got this
Americans.
cup. That's the only cups I need.
Oh, double fisting, dude.
Double fist in it.
I like that, dude.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt, George. Continue with the.
No, yeah, dude. So,
Continue
yeah,
with your victory lap on a competition that I've four-peated before.
you know what, dude? You guys like to talk about the past stuff. So I'm gonna bring this past up. Is that you guys? Excuse me. Brighton lost to Chelsea 1-0. Actually, should have been 2-0. They should have, unless if I'm not mistaken, Nicholas Jackson got that offsides or something. Should have been 2-0. So I could have got deuces wild on you guys, dude. But got the dub. Happy for it, and something to look forward as in today, as of right now. So it's nice to see the both of you guys' faces as you guys lost. Yes, you are correct. You all lost, both of you.
Yeah.
So, and actually, one was actually pretty freaking bad. But anywho, but yeah, we'll go and get to that. But yeah, for Brighton and the Chelsea game, I think Brighton had quite a few of the free kicks. I think you guys had like almost over a dozen, while the Chelsea just had maybe 5 or 6 free kicks. We did have a few offsides more. There was 1 yellow card. I think maybe 2 for Brighton had 2 yellow cards, maybe a red. No, not a red. Excuse me, maybe a third one. But other than that, we still got the dub, dude. So I'm happy about that, dude. So, Greg, I'd love to hear from you, man, because I knew you knew it was coming, dude.
Whatever. Who cares?
No, he didn't know it was coming. It's an
I had no
upset
idea.
victory for sure. And it's an upset victory because your team's so So maybe you should prioritize this competition.
What?
But here's the thing. Who do you have next in the Carabao? Because Newcastle has United.
That's a good question, dude. I will have to get back to you on that, dude. I should have looked at that.
Simple Google search. Hold on.
Simple Google search. While they're Googling, I'm going to just talk a
Blackburn
little bit of
Rovers.
shit. The Blackburn Rovers?
Okay, yeah, you'll probably advance
It's
in
like
that.
their logo is like the Guns N' Roses, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
they've actually won a Premier League.
Blackburn?
Way back, way back in the 90s.
Way back in the 90s.
We play
when Michael Schumacher was
next
racing
month,
Formula One.
When we play them. The rest of the games are just in the Premier League.
Well, here's the thing: the Carabao is exactly the competition your team needs right now. All joking aside, seriously, your fan base needs that competition. But the other 2 fan bases that really need that competition are United and Newcastle. Now they play next in the Carabao Cup, so one of them is going to get knocked out. But maybe it's a competition you can focus on because it's something you need. I just make fun of it because that's what everybody did to me when it was all we were winning. So
You can talk all the crap you want. Just because your team lost, dude, don't take it out on me, dude.
I'm not mad about the team losing in the Carabao Cup. I knew we were going to lose that game.
Baloney, you always say
any sensible City fan, when we did our predictions last week, I had not heard Guardiola's comments prior to the Newcastle game. If you listen at the episode I was on with our friends in Hollywood Kitbacks, you should go check them out, by the way.
Shout out our boys
I
at Hollywood
made the prediction that we were going to probably lose that game. And the reason for that is Guardiola went into the press conference and said, "We're not putting an ounce of energy." The pep conference, that's a good one. We weren't putting an ounce of energy into the competition, and legitimately, it would have been impossible for us to win this competition this year, anyways. The reason for that is because if we had made it to the semifinal of the Carabao Cup, our entire first team is going to be over in Saudi Arabia playing in the Club World Cup because we won the Champions League last year. So, yeah, we didn't put any effort. I don't care about congratulations to Newcastle. They played well. They scored 1 goal against a heavily rotated team. I thought the team actually played pretty well against Newcastle in the game, considering all the changes we had, and we played a bunch of kids and a bunch of people that hadn't played in a long time. So that's the first one. And you're right. I'm very disappointed about the Wolves game that we played. Yeah. It was absolutely diabolical performance.
Yeah. Well, I
Just-
mean,
Yeah, dude, that was such a painful. I don't know if we want to jump on that right now, or I'd like to hear what Greg says about the Brighton game with Chelsea, or just
yeah.
just gonna
You know,
just gonna dust it
1-0.
off, dude.
we can just pause it real
1-0.
quick. That's fine.
Okay. The Chelsea game, whatever. It is what it is. It's clear we weren't really doing so hot this week because we got bent over the coals with the game that was played yesterday against Aston Villa. Now, admittedly, I think we all kind of expected Aston Villa to win this game, but by how much, man? God bless America.
I didn't think. I thought you were going to
I
beat
didn't
Villa.
think I did not
Yeah, I
expect
did not. I
Villa to
thought Villa.
score.
Yeah, I thought you were going to beat Villa.
You think so?
Oh
Well,
God, yeah.
And that you.
I
Oh,
think
that's
I
right.
think we all did.
You left before the predictions happened, but I jumped in for you,
Oh.
and I gave you a 3-1 because that's what you've been talking
That's
about.
what we've been doing. That's what we've been
Yeah.
doing, and that's a fair. You know, it's why
it's a
mess
safe
with
it's a safe one, yeah.
success? It's a safe bet. You know,
Yeah,
there
Patrick
would have
did
been
pretty
even
hard.
money
I think I
if
gave
you
you
were betting
3-0.
the odds, but it was just a trash game. You know, overall, it was they were not playing well at all in the first half, and I didn't even honestly. I saw enough in the first half to notice. I mean, Estupinian had a goal for the other team.
Yeah, it was an
He
unlucky one. I saw that
It
goal.
was
That's
like
an
a
unlucky one.
Yeah,
that's just
you can't.
the luck of the unluckiness of the draw, I guess. That's just bullshit. It just what are you gonna do?
Well, it's a good
What are you
title
gonna
for the
do?
episode. Sometimes maybe
Some
good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yep, that's exactly right. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's really all it is. They lost really badly to Aston Villa, and they just got to get their shit together for next week. So that's really all I had to say about that. I know we're all wanting to hear what Patrick has to say about the City game. So Patrick,
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna finish with because I watched a little bit of the game too. I think I turned off about 30 minutes into. I was preparing for tonight's episode, and I just watched
Mhm.
about 30 minutes of it. I think Villa lined up exactly how you can beat teams like us is they flood the midfield so you can't break their press. You guys are not playing quick. Did not play quick enough today at all to even break that.
no,
And it's just one of those. Were you away? I think you were at Villa Park too.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
away.
those Midland teams that you go away to are just a nightmare to play away at. Like the crowd is really stacked on top of the team. They really get behind their team, and yeah, with how Villa's playing right now, I mean, I there's always a chance that they could have beat you, but not by 6. And I remember you guys just defensively were terrible, and you
Trash.
could not keep up with their balls over the top. And then the first goal that came, like the guy tried to dove in on a challenge and
Yeah,
totally like
and
missed the ball. Yeah,
I
it
didn't really
happens.
understand that. I didn't really understand it. But the point is they scored 3 goals within the first like 25 minutes, and then it
Mhm.
was like 2 in like 3 minutes or something like that. It was ridiculous. They were just freaking lighting us up.
Yeah, so it's just unlucky, but you have those performances when you're at the top, so it's all good. Pick
That's the
yourself
only way
up.
to go is down when you're at the top. You
Yeah,
know.
who do you have? Who do you have next?
Let's see.
In the Premier League, I think they have Liverpool. Liverpool.
Ooh, that's gonna be a
Oh
tough one.
God,
That's gonna be a tough one.
that
You
is
know
gonna
what?
be a
I could
tough
be
one.
wrong, but I think it's Liverpool.
No,
Yeah,
you're
well,
right. It is Liverpool. Or no,
they
it's
have Marseille during the
Marseille.
week.
That's the European League one.
Yeah, you might do well against a French club.
When do you guys play that one? You guys is that this
I think
week?
it's Wednesday,
Thursday?
Tuesday, or
Wednesday?
Thursday.
Ooh, dude.
Thursday.
This I like it, dude. Because this is when it's gonna start like getting busy, dude.
Busy. This is where you have to manage your squads
This
and
is this is
everything.
yeah, and then the part of people
Yeah.
getting healthy and all that stuff, different cups.
Yeah.
Liverpool's
rotations.
going to be tough for you, man.
Yeah, it's
Liverpool's
gonna
gonna
be
be
a
real
tough
tough. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know,
Yep.
dude.
And
By the performance with Aston Villa, dude. And
oh,
another
geez,
Aston, dude.
bro, his next 2 games, he's got Liverpool and he's got me.
Ooh,
You got a tough
6
schedule
points
ahead.
down, dude.
Whatever. We're gonna see.
On them
you-
all
you
losses
have-
now, dude.
You have
gonna
a tough
see.
schedule ahead of you.
One day at a time. That's what they teach us.
Yeah,
Yeah, one game at a time. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, you'll be all
Deserbia, so
You'll be all right, dude.
you'd be okay.
I freaking love him so much. He's such a great guy. He is literally that guy from that clip. That sometimes it may be good,
Maybe good,
sometimes it may be
sometimes
shit.
maybe.
It's
Speaking of
his energy for sure.
speaking of maybe,
Wah,
that City
wah.
game.
Dude,
I mean, we already covered the Newcastle game. I kind of that was a fun game for me to watch, legitimately, because we got to see a lot of the kids play, and we got to see Calvin Phillips in the midfield and actually have a full game. He did all right, but you know, it's not a big deal. We knew we were going to kind of lose to Newcastle. I thought we played well in the first half, and then they really came out and pressed us in the second. We just kind of couldn't do anything. But given the comments and like I have already previously said, that we couldn't. There's no way we were winning that competition, anyways. All right, it's a free shot. It's a free game for us to try things. Come to the Wolves game, and it's just in diabolical performance. I have
and
not seen us play that bad. But it's not even for me, the biggest thing about that game is it is so frustrating that I felt like it was coming. Yes, we had a lot of, come from behind wins and we came back in the second half and I'm excited in the moment. But you could see elements of it coming with these low blocks that we're playing and we're not stringing passes together. Maybe it's just a bridge too far. Maybe it's just too much too soon with, all the new players were coming in. But I'm telling you, man, like that was just an absolutely terrible performance. No one seemed to be able to string passes together. I hate playing against Wolves and teams like them because they, as soon as they go ahead against you, all they do is waste time, waste time, waste time. They go down easily. They, you know, have an injury and then don't get off the field.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy, and he was. Yeah, I saw that.
You know what's
What a
fucked up about that
pussy.
guy? What's fucked up about that guy is the fact that he honestly should not have been on that football pitch. You go back and watch. He already had a yellow card. And then you
Mhm,
go back and watch the challenge on Kyle Walker.
mhm.
All day long, that is a second yellow. And the only reason he did not get a yellow card is because he was already on one. And I'm sorry, that's not how the rule works. And wouldn't you know it, the guy that's supposed to be off the pitch scores the winning goal against us with my biggest gripe, despite not stringing passes together, despite not feeding the ball through to Holland, despite all of the things that were kind of wrong with the attack. That's just kind of how things are right now for us. So I guess I'm more willing to accept that is that teams are going to play a low block and we somehow got to figure out a way of breaking that down and getting the ball in the back of the net. We had an opportunity early on in like 3 minutes in. To be fair, it was well defended, but Holland could have had a tap in and I'm just sitting there I'm like you've got to take your early freaking chances against these teams because if they score first on the counterattack, it's they're gonna just sit in and waste all the time in the world that they can. But the biggest thing about this game that is the most frustrating is how woeful we were defensively. Completely useless at the back. And it's fine. Like guys have bad days, but Diaz, terrible decision, clearing not clearing balls out. Akanji, like for the second goal is just absolutely awful, awful defending. They cut us apart so easily. Nathan Ake, who I love, he's Mr. Consistent. He's he was crucial in us doing our treble run last year. For whatever reason, could not deal with the pace of Pedro Neto, and we were unable to recognize that and make changes. I don't know why, but just overall, just a absolutely shambolic performance. I rarely turn games off. I rarely turn games off. I don't even remember the last time that I've actually done that, but I hate to admit it, but on the 87th minute, I shut the game off because I already knew we weren't scoring that game. We weren't going to have any results. No one was going to make the run through. It's just overall a frustrating performance. And I guess I've calmed down a little bit and tried to take it into perspective that we always have one or two performances like this at the end of, throughout the course of a Premier League season. And every time I get frustrated, but every time we kind of come back and we are going to go on runs this year. We are going to have beautiful play, but I this period of time where things just aren't clicking, it is very painful to watch how easily we're getting dismantled and how no one in our midfield seems to be able to string a pass together. That's the critical thing of playing for City is the ability to pass the ball around in midfield, and we just simply cannot do that right now. And we seem so one-dimensional. Doku looks, there's not one player at fault I can blame, or I can say they didn't have a good game. I just think entirely the team was sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And today was sometimes maybe shit.
George, I don't know if you heard that just now. The tickle, the passion, just the
There's a little bit, and I guess Patrick, you can say that because Pep wasn't there, wasn't he?
He was there, but he had his
But he
because
wasn't.
of the
He wasn't managing though. He wasn't.
no, he had his AirPod in. He was in the stands because of this new stupid rule. I'm sorry, this new rule is f***ing terrible. It's horrible.
what is it?
Th-
What does that
It's the
mean?
rule where any sort of dissent,
Publicity or
t-
something, right?
talking back to the ref, basically. If you talk back to the ref, you get a yellow card. That's kind of always existed. If a player really gets in refs, it's always been based on the players.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very rare that it's been managers. Um, that if you really are up in the ref's face, yes, you can get a yellow card for dissent. But the Premier League, in their infinite wisdom, has decided that they're actually going to super enforce it this year. And any player dissent, any manager dissent, they get a yellow card. Well, Pep's a Spanish guy. He's a passionate guy, and he's gotten 3 yellow cards already this year. So he served a suspension, or not a suspension. He just couldn't be on the touchline. So what I don't like about it, and one, it's like football's a passionate thing. Like
Yeah.
that's what happens to all managers. But the thing that I don't like about it is how inconsistently it's applied. Because not to point at
Mm.
other teams, but go back and look at the game, the Spurs Arsenal game, where Arteta is out of his technical area jockeying a player on the team like he's a defender. No yellow card, no nothing. With all of Arteta's antics and he doesn't get any yellow card, where's the consistency in how it's applied? And that's the biggest problem I have.
Sounds pretty
Is
racist to me.
if you're going to have this rule, that's fine, but you better apply it equally to all parties. And there's never been consistency in the refereeing. And the City fans complaining and talk about the Rodri red card or the Rodri handball, 2 years ago or whatever. You want to talk about me living in the past. But it's like somebody please find some consistency in the refereeing of this game. Whether it's it affects all teams. You look at Liverpool this weekend with the VAR call that they should have won that game against Spurs, and they called that VAR call offside. They didn't look at the tape. They chose not to use like artificial intelligence like what they used at the World Cup to, help the referees out. And now Liverpool's suffering for it. And I'm sure that I can pick any team over the last year and a half that has suffered because of poor refereeing decisions. And it seems to happen on a more consistent and regular basis, and it's a problem. So you need to sort it out, Premier League, because it's not. I mean, City aside, yeah, I'm pissed and I'm talking about it because it's affected my team. I'll openly admit that, but it's
And
not
just
okay that they
just
are
think of
not
it
this
as a bigger
consistent.
game, right? Just think of it if it was a
Exactly.
bigger
This is a
game.
Premier League game that, like, look, grand scheme of things, we're gonna come to May. I don't, I think we're gonna win the Premier League again. But even if we don't, if we come to May and we haven't won the Premier League, it's not gonna become because of this Wolves game. Like, I'm gonna forget about this game in a month because we're gonna have another performance that's like, oh, that's great,
Don't worry, I'll remind you about it.
But and similar to you, Greg, like you're not going to remember this Villa game in a couple of months' time.
Oh no, he will. It
But
was 6-1.
it's
I'm reminded.
It's gonna be hard to forget that one.
it's just one of those things of like there's a lot that went wrong, and I don't think the refs are the reason we lost that game, but I do think the refs are losing more and more control of games because they're just simply not good enough. At least the English referees.
You know, since we're talking about officiating and all that stuff, and we see it a lot in American sports too, of how this officiating is affecting. Like we see a lot within baseball and a lot with American football, not specifically just for Premier League, but these officials. Especially with, and I hate to talk about this, but we always consider and think that what if the refs actually have real bets going on, and they're actually
Or like
making
fixing.
like it's played. I hate to say it, but as fans, as Brighton, Chelsea, and City, these referees, not just Premier League, it's everywhere, and people throwing these calls, missed calls, poor judgment, VAR not looking, makes you wonder and like question it sometimes because it is, it's frustrating, and just hearing this from you, Patrick, you should have got the dub on this, and also with with you guys winning all your trophies last season, you guys are under a microscope. So of course, any little thing the league can see, they're going to capitalize on it, 100%. For instance, like Pep getting the third yellow card, they're going to guarantee. I guarantee you they're everyone on that team is under a microscope because you guys have high expectations, and you guys are expected to win. You're expected to have class, blah blah blah, and not just for City and other Premier League teams. You can go back from American football to American baseball, which is like that, and it's unfortunate how that happens. But I feel you, dude. I truly do. And again, you guys should have got the dub.
I don't think we should have won that game. Well, I think a
Minus
draw would have.
minus the
I think a draw would have been a more fair result because that second goal, it's poor defending, but it doesn't help that the guy that scored that goal should not have been on that pitch. So yeah, that adds extra sting to it.
no,
But
that's fair.
with that performance, I don't think we should have won. I think a draw would have been a fair result given the play that had happened.
Mhm.
Wolves were excellent at counterattacking. And I don't think the ref in this game really, you know, that's not why we lost the game. We lost the game because Nunez and Kovacic couldn't string two passes together in midfield. What are you going to do? And
Well,
then,
yeah, I remember too. I think
there's the other problem of like, I mean, the one shining bright spot of this was that free kick by Alvarez. It was gorgeous. It was awesome.
Mhm.
But it leads to another problem as well, is figuring out how to work Holland now that people know what Holland does. Because this has been 3 games now that they're putting 3 defenders on them.
I told you in the very beginning, dude, that teams are going to figure out how to guard him.
And I told you already, he's not. I don't expect him to have the season. Here's what it comes down to. Here's my frustration, like in a nutshell, so we can have something for the clips. My frustration comes down to is I don't. Am I disappointed when City loses? Of course I am. Every time. Yes. There's a way of losing for me, I guess. When we lose like that and we perform like that, that is unacceptable. That is not acceptable for City to perform like that. It's one thing if we lose. It's one thing, shit happens in a game. If we just get unlucky, it happens quite often against Liverpool. But when we lose like that, and there's a bunch of BS way in the way the other team wins, that's what frustrates me the most.
Yeah, and
That
if
makes
you
sense.
guys continue that by next week, I think you have Arsenal next week. You guys will get smoked if you guys play like that.
If we
And
play like, you're absolutely right. If we play like that
showing
against
them
Arsenal,
how-
we're getting smoked.
I want to say you guys play next week, and I think this week you have Leipzig, or I don't know, for Champions
Leipzig,
League.
yeah.
Leipzig,
Yeah,
excuse me.
Leipzig.
And then you guys have, I want to say you have Arsenal this week, and by that
Yeah.
performance of how they played against Bournemouth today, they had like 5 goals today, or 4 goals, 4 or 5, I don't know, but having that
Yeah,
performance of
that's
how
Bournemouth,
it's
though.
Bournemouth, that's fair, but they're still putting numbers up, and City only putting 1 goal against Wolves and then no goals against Newcastle. That's scary. And right now with how
Newcastle, you got to put aside, because damn well the team we put out against Newcastle is not who's going to go play it against Arsenal.
That's fair. But you guys are not putting goals. You need to have that motivation coming in to the next week, the upcoming game. So you need to put. I mean, I can't say much because Chelsea, but you guys are expected to score many goals this season, not just with Holland. You got with Holland.
I agree with you. We just to check your fact here on the Bournemouth versus Arsenal. City put 4 past Bournemouth as well.
Okay, okay, that's fair. But
so I mean,
performance needs to pick it up, and now because you guys get Pep back, or is he suspended another game?
No, he's back on the touchline,
He's
and
back.
he was in communication.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, that the other thing is the games that I think you're choosing to say that we're not scoring goals on, like, you're forgetting we're playing against lower level teams that are playing a low block against us, which always challenges us. And we've been managing to get wins, even Forest played a low block against us. And we're not going to score that many goals when it's a low block. Arsenal, on the other hand, they're going to come out and play us, which is more what we like to see, because it does give us the ability to have space in behind them as well.
Well, that's fair, but if you want to talk facts and statistics, you guys are playing shittier teams. You guys play Burnley. You guys play Sheffield. They're on the lower levels. Nottingham.
So is Arsenal.
You guys don't play
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah, but Arsenal drew against the Spurs side as well.
Doesn't matter.
First real test of the year.
We're talking about goals here, is what you're saying. So Burnley, you got 3. They're a team right now. Newcastle 1. I get it. It's a solid team. Then you got Sheffield United. You guys, the 2-1 victory. You expect to have more goals than that. And
not against a low block, no.
Okay, I guess we are in 2 different opinions, but I'm going to be expecting you guys to have more goals in those games.
No, goals don't matter to me. 3 points matters. I'll take a 1-0 win against Arsenal. You're focused on the wrong thing. Well, I don't give a I frankly don't give a let me say it this way. Do I like when we go on 4 goal runs and, it's an easy win? Of course. Who doesn't love to see a lot of goals score? I'm sure Villa fans love to see, those 6 goals go in against Brighton this weekend.
That's
fair.
Well, that was just uncalled for. I was minding my own business. You just had to remind me.
So do I want to see us go and score a bunch of goals? Of course. But we are, if your point is that we're not scoring goals, you're absolutely wrong, because we are scoring goals. And really what matters more than the goals is making sure we get the 3 points. That's what I care about. I don't give a shit. If we went every game for the rest of the season and it was all 1-0 victories, I'm happy as can be. I'm great. That's 3 points every single game. And that's what matters more than the goals.
I think
now,
if you're winning,
the problem that you might be getting at is we are letting some goals in that are cheap, and that I will grant you, and that needs to change.
So, okay, well, I think me and Patrick, you've been arguing a little bit. Greg, you want to jump in this? What are your thoughts on the game, dude?
I think that that f***ing player, whatever his name was, they
South
called
Korean
him a
guy.
Korean. He was a
Yeah,
Korean player.
he's
I don't remember what his name was, but what trash, what unsportsmanlike conduct. His should be busted down like he should be relegated himself as a person. Like for some shit like that. That's the most unsportsmanlike thing I've ever seen. Is I wonder if it's I wonder if it's a cultural thing. Is it a cultural thing potentially,
no,
or is it just a
it
sucker?
it's those lower
More.
level it's those mid-table teams
Mhm.
that play like that, and they go one goal. Look, imagine, and we had this conversation before. I honestly, genuine believe, like, when City comes to town, everybody's mentality is different because they know City's coming to town. And what do? We score goals. We're going to be on the attack. So defensively, they're like more switched on because they know they're going to have to defend. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's that. And then once you go one goal up, well, you don't want to sacrifice that lead. So yeah, they start wasting time and doing things like that.
That's just trash.
I know.
That should be.
So, Patrick, would you still continue? I'm sorry, Greg, if I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I'm good.
Would you still continue, Patrick, using that? You guys had a 4-3, or 4-2-3-1. What would you guys have today?
Yeah.
Or
Four
excuse
two
me,
three
yesterday.
one.
4-2-3-1. So would you keep it the same, or
Yeah, of
just it
course.
was probably just an off game?
Yeah, I think ultimately, end of the day, it's an off game. Yeah, I don't even think if we had Rodri in the team, like that's been the conversation I've seen online is, oh, um, Rodri, oh, they're missing Rodri, and yeah, I think that's probably true. I think there's an element of missing Rodri. I think there's an element of missing Bernardo, and I think some of the players we have out there really are trying to learn this system, like learn how the system plays. If you would put if you put KDB, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, Rodri all back in that lineup, I
David
think it's
Beckham.
David Beckham. Um, I think that results different, mostly because of the experience those people bring. They're used to handling a counterattack. They've gone 3 years now of teams playing a low block and counterattacking against us. So they got experience handling that. So I think it's a bad day at the office. It's just frustrating. No, I wouldn't change how we line up. The 4-2-3-1 I think works. I would have if Patrick's managing, I would have put I would have taken Ake out earlier and put
And put
Vardiol
in,
on
yeah, because
because
he didn't get the start, right? He didn't get the lineup start,
no, he'll probably play in the Champions League because
and Grealish didn't show up either, huh? Or did he get subbed in?
he got subbed in late. It
Was it
Grealish
Nunez
is
that continued the? Did he get the
no
start in the
Nunez
midfield
got
with?
pulled at halftime.
Okay, so it was who was it? Was Mateo and
Nunez in the
Nunez?
midfield, yeah. So yeah, I think a little bit of injuries are coming to bite us in the ass, missing that
Okay.
experience. But no, I wouldn't change the lineup. It's just I I don't expect because of how good Kovacic and even Nunez has been. There's now that expectation set on my end, I guess. So when they have an off day and they can't string passes together and we can't handle a counterattack, like simple counterattacking stuff, yeah, it's frustrating. It's this is first grade stuff, SpongeBob. There you go, Greg.
Unbelievable, dude.
I love
I've
SpongeBob
dominated
so
this
much.
episode and I apologize, boys.
That's okay.
Well, do you
That's
all want to
okay.
take a quick break real quick
Yeah,
and we'll get
I
into the
want to
banner
take a break.
segment?
My ass was falling asleep, and I need to
Cool.
refill my drink.
We'll be back with the banter segment. Yeah, we're back. Boys had a good pee. We're gonna roll right along to the banner segment. So, Greg, what do you got for us today?
Well, I didn't really prepare a banter segment this week. I got caught up watching some baseball. And I was just, I wasn't watching it actually. I was listening to it. And I don't know about you guys, but I just found it so relaxing to just listen to the game.
I feel
Just
that.
sitting on my couch. I didn't have my phone. I wasn't like scrolling on my phone or whatever. I was just listening to the game and I was just like very relaxed. And I was thinking that we could talk about relaxation, a little relaxation. Talk about
Relaxation.
what relaxes you most. I would say that listening to baseball games. I also really like staring at the waves of the ocean, and I like to hum the song "Dancing Queen" by ABBA, but in the wrong key.
Ooh, is it really the wrong key if it's just you though? There's a little bit of music trivia for you.
That's a fair point. No,
Then
you
it's
make
just a cover. It's just a
well.
cover.
It's just a bad cover of the song. Yep, that's a fair
Yeah.
point. That's a
So
fair point.
if it's just you, you
Not
can
the
change
key that it
key
was
all you want.
recorded in.
There you go.
There you go.
There's your
What
music
relaxes
knowledge for the
you?
episode. I also share listening to baseball on the radio, and I don't know why, because I don't like baseball at all. I don't watch baseball, but I have an old car that doesn't actually have Bluetooth built into it, so I had to buy a Bluetooth thing.
Same. Yep. Same.
And that finally went bad.
Oh.
So I had the radio on and I was just scanning channels,
Mhm.
like you do. And it landed on like the Diamondbacks game here in town.
Mhm.
And I was just driving along the road, just listening, and whatever it was just like maybe it's the nostalgia of it with like my dad or my
Mhm.
grandparents growing up, listening to baseball on the radio. Maybe it's just the announcer's voice for the Diamondbacks sounds so familiar. It's just a familiarity thing to me, but I'm just like, this is so comforting right now. I
Yeah.
like this. But what I really do to relax actually is in the mornings. I wake up about 2 hours before I actually need to go to work,
Mhm.
which is 4 a.m. for me,
Jesus Christ.
because I have to leave at 6. But I like just sitting out on my couch in the dark because it's obviously the sun hasn't come up with, and
Mhm.
there's like this stillness to the house. There's nothing going on in it. There's no noise. If I go outside, there's no cars going. There's just like, and I've been like this since I've been like 13.
Hmm.
Like during summer vacation, I'd wake up early as well, and not that early, of course, but early as well, and just there's this calm that happens just in the morning when there's nothing going on, and it's like the most relaxing thing in the world for me.
So tranquil. Maybe
Mhm.
that's why I wake up super early because I do that too, and for no good reason. Like I never have to be up that early, but it is very tranquil. I'll just
Yeah,
go
it's
sit on
just
my
like very
couch.
serene, and you're just
Mhm.
like, I don't, it's not even that it's quiet, although that's part of it, but that's like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for that just, there's some energy there that's so calming. It's sometimes very good.
Sometimes maybe shit. What about you, George? What do you do to relax?
Hmm.
Get away from his kids.
Yeah. Go sit in the car.
Fortnite.
Car, dude. Nice and calm. You know, it's kind of like
V-Bucks. Get him those V-Bucks. George is taking V-Bucks donations for his son.
Cash
yeah,
app.
Cash App only, dude.
Yep.
It's kind of what Patrick says, dude. It's more like, because we live in the boonies, and it's nice, like how there's no cars, no really activities going on. You can literally just go outside in your patio or in the front of your porch and just go out there and just listen to nothing. Like you can
Mhm.
just hear your ears ring. You hear one thing with like a rock, like a what was that? Coyote?
What was that?
What was that? And you kind of just zone out. So I think that's more relaxing. And I think also when we go to bed, we have this little calming machine down, and I like to listen to the raindrops.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah,
we'll
Love
use the
like
that.
a white noise. You have like a white
Yep.
noise machine.
yeah. Shout out to Calm. Everyone's used that. But yeah, dude, we'll kind of switch it up. We'll use the rain. Sometimes we'll do the ocean. But yeah, dude, put that on for like 6 hours, play it on, and just kind of zone
Conk right
out.
out.
Also another thing too is obviously all of us, I mean, well, mainly you guys. You guys listen to music. You guys are more into music than I am. But just put on some good tunes, dude, and just kind of zone out. Maybe the music with like no lyrics, just musicians just rocking out,
Synthwave.
doing dude, or doing those the keyboards, doing those things. Big fan of the saxophone, and I kind of
Ambient music.
yeah, and I kind of
I
get
have a-
down with like the big old thing, the what do you call it, the cello. I would just I would just go and zone into that, dude, and just back in when I used to work at the Honda Center in California in Anaheim, they used to have all these jazz bands that would go out and
That's sick.
like a symphony, like they had a Star Wars theme, they had a Jurassic Park theme one time,
Oh yeah.
and it's just like a college found. I don't know what I can't remember. You kind of put me on the spot in this, but I kind of brought it up now, so I gotta say it. But it's more of like just relaxing, kind of people just zoning out and tuning in on it, and
Vibing, yeah.
it sells out like it sells out. Dude. So rocking out to that, just listening, just go with the vibes, dude.
I got
Yeah,
that.
man. I
That's
think
pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Not too shabby.
Everybody
So,
has their own thing, you know.
Speaking of, like, you were talking about like when you're out in the morning and what's that? It's a coyote. I know you were joking, but like, is that a coyote? I have a coyote story. If you'll
Uh-oh.
allow me to tell it in this banter segment,
We will allow it.
we will allow it this time. Approved.
Objection.
Objection,
Overruled.
Your Honor.
Yeah, Greg will have to need the blessing, dude.
Objection overruled.
Saint Greg.
Coyote story. I want to hear it.
So this a couple weekends ago, at the beginning of September, I was up in Flagstaff. I do this event in Flagstaff every year for Church in the Valley, where we run like a $500,000 system for them, and it's real fun. I I get to go camp up in Flagstaff and do AV stuff. Super fun. But we went up early this time. We start set up on Thursday, so we drove up Wednesday night just to get camp set up and hang out. Well, by the time the event, we're pumping so much sound through the forest there that any animal within 5 miles of there is not even coming around because it's just too loud for them, obviously. But that first night, you're in. It's basically held at a Boy Scout camp up in Flag. So, Wednesday they're just used to their normal routine. So we set up camp. We're hanging out and we're just kind of chilling before we go to bed. And we finally, start trying to fall asleep. And I'm telling you, all night long, all I heard was coyotes howling, like close by too. And you don't really got to worry about them because they're gonna run away from you. But man, literally, I was up every 2 hours because they were calling to each other. They were doing their roll call. And that is my coyote story. Yeah, all night, all night.
That's crazy, dude. Coyotes they're pretty interesting.
They are.
We have them a lot down here. Not so much in the city in Tucson, but occasionally you'll see one running across the road. Or if
They're in actually every major city in America has coyotes.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because
today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the main reason is just because of their breeding, how they breed, and when they're howling like that, they're doing roll call. And if they realize they have lost numbers, there's something in their biology or whatever that the next time they have a litter, the females will have like more pups in the litter, just
bricked up
naturally.
Just it's weird. Coyotes. That's weird.
It's not even that. It's that their litter is larger. So that they have the same amount of sex.
I'm glad that doesn't work for humans.
Yeah, wouldn't you imagine? Oh boy.
I thought I had just heard something about that the next generation, that they're worried about the workforce, about having population control or something like that.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're nervous about that.
Everything's going to be automated in like 10 years anyway. The only thing you're
Yeah.
going to have left is storytellers because AI can't do that.
Yet.
Oh,
Can't do it. It can, but it just, I don't know. I feel like that's the one. I feel like that's the one thing that will never be able to be substituted by robots. I feel like the human mind and the human experience. I mean, you can get pretty damn close. I'm not gonna lie. This Chat GPT is pretty darn clever nowadays, but I just don't know that it'll ever be able to replicate the human mind. Certainly not, like someone like Theo Vaughn, that's for sure. That dude. You can't write it. You can't write a program like that.
yeah.
You can't
You
write
know,
that.
with that Chat GBT stuff and this AI stuff, it kind of amazes me of how like why would someone make that to possibly take your job or possibly do everything to do
Yeah.
that? Like, why
Because
would you make
if
something
you make
to?
it and it's your IP, it's your intellectual property, you can make money off of it.
Well,
But
that's one
I do
person.
agree. I do agree with you that like I was having this conversation today with Brandon. I was like, I'm pretty sure that I think it's very possible we're gonna like progress ourselves out of existence or
Yeah.
technology. I don't know what the word is, but advance technologically
Mhm.
too quick for these little meat sacks that we're in to keep up.
It's gonna
You're
be
a meat sack.
it's gonna be insane, dude. And then like how these like we're gonna be able to read your mind with like a microchip, something like
Neuralink, yeah.
that.
I don't know if I want to read minds,
How
man.
and how
I would
you
not.
take. Yeah, you better wear a condom, dude, because I have a dirty mind, dude. So you better wear that. So that being said, dude, is like it's gonna be crazy of how I don't know. We're kind of going a little overboard on this banner segment, but it's gonna it amazes me how why would someone make something and then take you and if you have kids and your kids have kids, you're gonna take you out of a job. How you gonna
Yeah.
find something? You're
I
gonna be a
mean,
grocery.
ChatGPT is
You're gonna be
great.
yeah. You're gonna
Writes episode descriptions for me. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
There you
shout
go.
out to GPT. No, I got no nothing bad about GPT, but Chat GPT, excuse me, but just be mindful of this little
no, I agree.
Well,
your
and you know
little
what's the
minions out
Well,
crazy
there.
thing?
it's funny. It's crazy too because actually, go ahead, Greg. You were
I was
starting
gonna
to say
say that the crazy thing for me is how did they write all this? How were they able to do
oh, like
that?
the coding.
The coding and all of like the different algorithms that they use to be able to simulate the human experience and the
Mhm.
human like
I don't.
artificial intelligence, and it has to be from our text messages, bro. They're reading our text messages, and that's why when you like say something into your phone and you see an ad for it later, like they
Yeah.
have all our texts, they're
Well, how do
reading
you?
it all,
Alexa's
and I'm
microphone's
about to
always on.
always on. That's why I don't have an
Oh,
Alexa. I have enough shit with microphones in my house that
Yeah, you're
is
using one right
constantly
now.
recording. I know. Yeah. But I have all sorts of microphones in my house. And this one on my damn arm goes straight to the government. I
Yep.
just was like, you know what? Let's cut out the middleman.
Put that
Cut me a
chip in
check,
me. Go
everyone.
right to the government.
Put exactly right. Exactly right. So
I
that's
want
why I
them to
got a
hear all
microphone
the terrible
tattooed on
things
my
I
arm.
say.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. I think that this banter segment was probably one of the best ones because it involved all of us and it was actually just banter and not just me rambling about bullshit. Yeah,
And
much better.
it's yeah, and like you said, like someone who's writing that and coding it, it's probably like what you said. They're relaxing. They're just writing code.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah,
just
I
doing
don't.
that's
it
crazy.
for the heck of it. But
That's
anywho,
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
I don't know, man. But I do think it's
We're
funny.
all
Just
we're gonna be Wally. Wally's
yeah,
gonna be what we're like.
we're gonna that it does seem more and more likely. But they do say, and we'll end with this. But they do say that it's funny, like all this through all when all of us were growing up, it was learning computers and learning all that because that's going to be the future. And now we have a computer that can do computer stuff faster than any of us can. So the
Mhm.
beneficial things to have are skills like can you build a house? Can you all those trade school things that you can learn? Like those
Mhm.
are they are what they're saying. Well, you want to come back, Chat GPT, learn how to fix an air conditioning or
Yeah.
what
Learn how to
be a
fix your car.
mechanic.
Yep. Exactly right. Make music.
So
They will
make
never be
music.
able to do that. It won't. I don't believe it. And it won't be
Well,
good.
Oh, I don't know. They can
I don't
fix
know
people's.
because I think you might be right that it won't be good. They won't be able to do like great music. However, as people like you and me and George, we all die off, and kids are just used to hearing AI generated music. Well, that's what their ears are going to be used to hearing. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to become good.
Maybe.
Besides
electronic music has gotten a lot better in the last
music
30
music
years.
has become so algorithmic nowadays anyways. We're already heading that way. Look at any pop song right now. It's all boring, like not dynamic. And I'm generalizing for sure. There's some cool stuff out there, but it's not the Beatles.
Ever since
the
when I would have
Beatles.
The Beatles, the four Beatles from Liverpool. Liverpool. Speaking of Liverpool, that's an incredible segue
Transition,
into our
boom.
predictions for next week. So I will go first because that is what that will work out because Liverpool is who we're playing. So we got Marseille
Is he
next
gonna
week.
back the team?
I'm saying Marseille 3-1 because Brighton's gonna go back to back on their bullshit. 3-1 Brighton against Marseille. And I'm gonna say 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay.
That's what we got.
Marseille, I'll Oh, you haven't had a lot of good luck in Europe lately, and Marseille is probably harder than Athens. So I'm gonna go. I'll give you Europe. I'll give you 1-0 to Marseille. Or
Okay.
you winning against Marseille 1-0.
Okay.
And then Liverpool, I'm actually gonna give you a win.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2-1 Brighton at Liverpool. Because I think you do have enough to break their midfield, and their back line's not what it used to be. So,
like that, dude.
I hope so.
Actually, you know what? 3-2. 3-2 Brighton. I think it's
3-2
high
Brighton.
scoring.
Okay. It's going to be a good game.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
3-2.
Thanks, Regis.
Locked in, dude. Little rest in peace, dude.
All right.
Okay.
You have Fulham tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, I got. Hold on. Let me give Greg his love real quick. The Europe game.
Europe.
And 2-0. I'll say 2-0 Brighton on that one.
Okay.
Liverpool. I think you guys are gonna bounce back on this from the Villa game, that horrific game. I'm gonna give you a victory on that one, 2-0.
Wow.
Brighton.
I'm the only negative Nancy on this night.
It's all right, dude. It's all good, dude.
It's all good. We're trying to be right too. That's fair.
Yeah.
Patrick,
we actually never revisit these predictions in any
Never
episode.
once.
That's the funny thing.
Never once.
So I've got Leipzig on Wednesday, and then the big one early on in the season at least, and Arsenal on Sunday.
Ooh.
So Leipzig, Champions League is back. I'm just gonna go 1-0. Are we away? Are we home or away? Hold on, let me check real quick. We're at home. I'm gonna go 2-0 City with Leipzig. And then I did an audacious prediction on the Hollywood Kipbacks episode I was on. And I am gonna stick to that just to be wild and out there. And I said 3-0 City at the Emirates. Suck it, Arsenal fans.
Suck it, Arsenal. All right.
3-0? Is that what you said?
What was the European team you
Holy
Leipzig.
Shitballs.
Leipzig.
We're gonna rock up to the Emirates and put them back in their place. I say that, and then I have to, I will gladly eat. Well, I won't be on next episode. You guys are gonna have to carry it. But next time I'm on, if that is incorrect. I'll
gonna rub it in your face.
Eat my humble pie.
George and I are gonna do nothing except spend the whole episode figuring out how much we're gonna talk to you. We're just gonna spitball and brainstorm ideas and be like, oh, we should say this to him. We should say this to him. Whole episode's gonna just be dedicated to talking shit about you, and then it's funny because you're gonna have to edit it and post it.
That actually is hilarious. Oh my god, that would be so funny.
Anyway,
we'll just have AI do it. Yeah,
that's true.
AI editing.
AI editing. Go ahead, Greg. You want to take this next one?
So against Leipzig, I'm going to say 2-0 City.
2-0 City.
2-0 City, and then Arsenal. I'm gonna throw a freaking curveball in here. I'm gonna say 2-2 draw.
Ooh,
It's wise.
2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
All right, I'm gonna go the City for the Champions League. Leipzig. I will say 1-0 City. Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
2-1 Arsenal. Okay. So we got that. George, what you got?
We got a game tomorrow. Chelsea and Fulham.
Now let me ask you real quick. Is that still weeks whatever this week is, or is that the next week's matches?
Um.
Or is that not even?
It's
not
still
even count?
Oh,
Like it's
week
it's
7,
his,
right?
Yeah. So yes,
yeah.
Greg, you're
It's still
correct.
part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The game tomorrow is still part of week
It's kind of
7.
like how you do with football, American football. You know, you have your Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Kind of the same
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. So Fulham and Chelsea, we are away. We play on Wednesday, and got back the team 2-0.
2-0.
Okay. Oh, and then following City Arsenal, you've got Chelsea Arsenal.
Chelsea.
You're gonna get ripped apart. I'm gonna. Well, that's for next episode, but God, I want you to win that game.
Let's go.
I'm gonna be backing you that day, but you're probably gonna get ripped apart. You got my support, just not my confidence.
I'm gonna manifest something for you, George.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say 1-0 Chelsea against Fulham.
Babe, dude, add a babe.
I'm just trying to get something going for
He
you.
He has that C. It actually it means Chelsea, not Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
It's the same color.
Isn't our boys from Hollywood Kickbacks? Alex, isn't he a Cubbies fan?
No, he's a Dodgers fan.
Oh
no. He's a Cubs fan.
Okay.
Yeah, because he said that he got to see him win the World Series.
Yeah, that's right. He did say that. I may or may not have been there. But I did listen to the episode afterwards. Anyway, all right. So Fulham. So that's the predictions. I think that's it, everybody. I think that's it. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Just a Bit of Banter. My name's Greg. I'm here with George and Patrick. Please follow us on all of our social media, Bit of Banter Pod. That's Bit of Banter Pod on YouTube, X, or Twitter, and soon to be TikTok, and also Instagram currently. Bit of Banter Pod. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
All right, see you, everyone. Thank you. Peace.